All right, guys, it's time for the new tier list in Anime Warriors 3. We're going to be going over the best fighters for free-to-play, pay-to-win, and leaderboard players. So if you guys want to become OP fast in Anime Warriors 3, this is the video for you. All right, let's get it started. I made my own tier list, guys. Me and my chat have been fearlessly looking for all the stats and all the data to bring it to you. So let's get it started. Here we go. Here is our tiers. We have D tier through the S tier. So first up, guys, I want to showcase a couple units that might really help you guys out. So these units are going to be the summer units. As always, guys, if you're a new player, you want to be in the summer island as fast as possible. And these are the units I highly recommend, guys. Rookie Summer Shiny. You're going to see 150, really nice. And the non-shiny is 94, which is not bad either. All right, however, I will be honest, the shiny should be basically guaranteed whenever you join in an admin abuse. So the shiny is definitely a highly recommended unit if you are a brand new player. All right, so the shiny actually goes into the C tier, which is shocking. And then the normal one goes into the D tier. All right, next up, let's start at the bottom with the Planet Nomic units. All right, the Planet Nomic legendary, you guys can kind of see here, not really doing too hot, but look at this, guys. 115 for the shiny and 72 for the non-shiny. What that means, guys, is that summer unit I told you is better than a shiny mythical. That's crazy. All right, so let's put these units on our list. So normal carrot and shiny carrot. Again, still not better than our rookie summer shiny. All right, let's move on to Future City. And here we go, guys. We got Gohan. We'll talk about secrets later, don't worry. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the banger content. All right, Gohan Super Shiny is 160 and Gohan is 100. Yikes. Yikes. All right, so 160 does put it above rookie, but barely. And then 100 will put it right there. So the nice thing about him is you can ascend him, and ascending does add in a lot of extra power, I'm not gonna lie. So I kind of highly recommend you do ascend if you can, because that's gonna put, that's kind of the biggest edge I think between mythics and legendaries. All right, so next up, let's move on to the next island before I get lost on the boat, guys. Oh my gosh. All right, we got Sand Village. So Sand Village, you have Sora to be 201. And now I'm gonna be honest, guys, even the legendaries in Sand Village are starting to pack a little bit of heat, but I would still recommend just spinning for the summer units instead. All right, 126 and 201 is actually pretty freaking good. So 201 actually puts him into the B tier. This guy is starting to bring some serious damage, and 126 will put him right about there. All right, honestly, not too bad of a unit, but definitely not the greatest. But the shiny version, you're getting somewhere. Sky Island Luffy, and look at this guy. Zoro is actually decent too, but again, Luffy Mythic Shiny 246 and then 154. Honestly, not bad at all. You're kind of getting to the point where it might actually be worth it, but we're gonna put this guy here and then this guy up here. Again, these guys are starting to be pretty decent hitters. All right, moving on to the Rain Village. This guy, look at this guy's 163, so he's starting to be better than the summer units. All right, 186 and 297. Whoa, barely, guys, barely. Dude, these Narutos are cracked. All right, barely not hitting the A tier. Shiny Naruto, you're starting to put in some serious work there, and he's very easy to get, especially during admin abuses. I think during an admin abuse, if you have a half decent free-to-play team, you should be able to get a full team of him. All right, moving on to the last one in the main game. Orihime, guys, 2 hundo. 2 hundo on a legendary. That's really good, and as you can see, that's actually cracked. So if you're a new player, you might want to consider getting her. If you want a team that is slightly better than your Summer Isles team, all right, you might want to try her out. She's very easy to get. All right, keep her in mind. She's not gonna be on the tier list, but she's a pretty decent unit, because I would assume you'd be able to get other mythics by the time you get her, and then she'd be less worth it because you can't ascend her. All right, Ichigo, guys, 222 and 350 freaking 5, guys. That is crazy work. All right, so normal Ichigo right here, and this guy actually makes it to, oh wait, that's the wrong order. I messed it all up, guys. Oh my gosh. All right, bang, and this normal one goes right here. So this guy is actually cracked. I really like to use this guy a lot. He's starting to get into the better than secrets range. Like, he's really good. I highly recommend him. All right, now we're gonna move on to some of the exclusive units. Now these are the Star Pass units. Now, I'm gonna be honest, or the battle pass units, the problem with these guys is you cannot ascend them, but they do have specials. All right, so the specials might work well with your team. You kind of just don't know, but I'm gonna be honest, they're not gonna be ranked very highly on my list, but they are okay. So if you're a new player, you might be able to take advantage of them, but you can't ascend them, and that's gonna really hamper your DPS a lot, because then you can only equip one relic, and honestly, frankly, not that worth it. So let's quickly go over these. But again, if you're a new player just starting out, you might want to try it. But look at this, guys. 120 Crimson Witch. Guys, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know it's worth putting on my list. All right, again, you can't even ascend it, and it's really hard to get. I'm gonna be honest, technically I would put it below the mythics, because yes, the mythic might have slightly maybe not below that mythic. We'll probably put her right about there, because you can't ascend her. All right, that's really tough if you can't ascend her. All right, now her shiny version is slightly better. Her shiny version will be doing close to 200 damage. All right, if you guys want to know the multiplier is 1.6, so it'd be 120 times 1.6. You get 192. So her shiny version isn't half bad, but again, you can't ascend her, so I can't really rank her that high. And she is a pay-to-win unit. All right, so obviously I can't really recommend her that well, but technically speaking, I would probably put her right about, I don't know, right about here. But she's pay-to-win, and you can't ascend her, so I'm gonna be honest, maybe use her to get through the later worlds. I really can't recommend her, guys. All right, similar song and dance with these guys. All right, you're looking at 272 though on that guy. Vigil is pretty cracked. Now the easy one to get is over here on tier, oh, I thought they moved into a different tier. All right, what tier is my man at? All right, this one at level 50, look at guys, 272 and 435 is kind of crazy though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So that's insane. You're looking at a pretty good one. So 272 would put him right about here, but I'm gonna rank him a little bit lower actually, because again, you can't ascend him, and that's kind of a big deal. Now 4 is crazy, guys. That's going up here. That's pretty good. Again, you can't ascend him, so he's probably not that good, but 435 is freaking wild. All right, this guy's at 242. He's also all right, but again, you can't ascend him, and that's gonna really hamper his DPS. So I'm gonna be honest, he's probably not even there. All right, now the shiny version is at 387, and that's not too bad. That's when you're kind of covering up for ascension. So I'm gonna put them up there. These guys are actually half decent if you're starting out. All right, but if you're not starting out, again, I would recommend getting Ascended Mythics, because if you take a look at what the Ascensions do, they can basically double, triple your DPS if you do them right. So highly recommend Ascensions and units that are ascendable. All right, next up, we got a few of the, oh, I gotta rank Nell Summer. All right, so I skipped over Nell Summer. Again, she's actually pretty good, but for my testing of her, she is slightly worse than Ichigo. But again, you can use her in the summer raid, which is pretty nice. So I'm gonna rank her a little bit higher for those reasons. So I'm gonna put Nell right where Ichigo is, and then the shiny again right where Ichigo is. A little bit of an advantage because again, you can use them in the summer, and that's kind of important because the summer raid is how you get Boros. So if you want to get Boros, you're gonna need to have a full team of Nells. I'm gonna be realistic. All right, Axe Warrior. All right, Axe Warrior is an interesting one. We're grinding kind of for him right now. He's kind of hard to get, but again, you kind of need him if you want to get Frerin. So he's kind of like a partial unit that you get on the way to getting Frerin. So in that respect, he's kind of good. But again, stat-wise, 336 shiny, 210 base. So that's not that great. So 210 base kind of really just gets him in the door. Like, realistically speaking, probably right about there. All right, for the non-shiny. And then for this one, I would say realistically right, I would put him below Nell Summer. Again, though, good for the Frerin event. So keep that in mind. But he's also really hard to get compared to the other ones. So keep that in mind as well. Like, way harder to get. All right, the other summer event unit we have, guys, is Genos and Shiny Genos. Oh, I don't have a picture of Shiny Genos. All right, here we go. Next up, guys, we have Genos. Now, Genos, again, a little bit harder to get. I'd say even harder to get than, oh, but 230 base is good. 230 base is real good. All right, so 230 base, let's compare that to our boy Ichigo. So Ichigo's base is 222. So he's slightly better than Ichigo. All right, very slightly better than Ichigo, but you know what? That's kind of big. So slightly better than Ichigo, and you can use him in the summer event. I'm gonna be honest, that's pretty good. Let's compare him to Naruto Shiny. So compared to Naruto, shiny is doing 297. Yeah, that's way more. That is way more. I have a lot of keys. All right, that is way more. So definitely not there, but right there. Perfect. He's actually really good, guys. Genos is kind of cracked, and that's shiny Genos. And normal Genos goes right there. Really, really good units. Kind of highly recommended. All right, next up we have Water Goddess and Water Goddess shiny. All right, so this unit is unobtainable, guys, so it doesn't really matter where I rank her, but she is better than Crimson Witch, so I would probably put her right about there, and the shiny version right about there. So she's half decent. Oh, that's probably swapped. There we go. She's actually a pretty good unit, though. I'm not gonna lie. But again, she's impossible to get, so if you already have her, you already have her, so this isn't gonna help you. All right, next, let's go over the secrets, because the secrets, this is when stuff kind of gets wild. So first up, we'll go over the secret that I actually personally have. So I have the Summer Isle secret, 670 damage. Whoa, that's already S tier, baby. 670 damage. That's really nice. All right, and I also have the other best secret, I guess, Aizen, 750 damage. So that's a significant amount more than Yoichi. And then we have the special Journey's End unit, Frieren, and Frieren's actually cracked too. 600 damage, guys. Jeez. So look at that right there. That's really good. So these are all really stacked units. All right, we also have some other units as well. So shout out to SSJ for giving us some of the stats. So this is Water Goddess's stats. 150 base is pretty good. All right, Dracule base stats is 580. So that's only slightly worse than Elf Mage. So Dracule is actually really good as well. Only slightly worse than Elf Mage. 580 is really good. All right. Shout out to SSJ for getting me some of these stats here. All right, Minato barely scratches the surface, guys, at 510. Wow, barely scratching the surface there. 510 will drop you on, man. All right, next up we got, we'll talk about the shinies in a second. Those get wild. All right, but the rest of them, they don't actually even top this list. We'll also go over some of these shiny versions. All right, remember the multiplier is actually times 1.6. So it gets kind of crazy. So Minato be 510 times 1.6, which is 816. So shiny Minato, guys, if you have a shiny secret, it's obviously way better than the other secrets. So keep that in mind as well. Elf Mage is in like 960. Elf Mage is really cracked. Again, Mihawk really cracked as well. Shiny Yoichi really freaking cracked. Shiny Aizen, again, pretty much the GOAT of the game. All right, we also got Boros Dominator and Boros shiny. So normal Boros is 730, and of course we can compare that to the old best secret, which is 750. So Boros actually doesn't even cross that threshold. Boros is slightly worse. And if we look at Yoichi, all right, Yoichi's at 670. So Boros is pretty good. So that means that puts Boros right about there for the shiny Boros. All right, again, really good units. All right, and then as far as secrets go, the other secrets will go in order like so. We got normal Naruto. I think it's this Naruto beast, right? All right, so this guy is slightly better than Minato. And then I believe it goes like this. And then that puts this guy... Ooh, I think that would put this guy here, and then this guy here, and then here. So there you go, guys. There is the final tier list. All right, I'm gonna actually have to add another tier soon. Not gonna lie, we might have to add another tier for the shiny secrets, because those are pretty insane. All right, one second, I forgot. It's like this. My bad. I made a mistake there. It's actually like this, guy. So this is the tier. I'm gonna add another tier in here as well. All right, we're gonna add a row above, and we're gonna call this the S+ tier. All right, so there we go, guys. We got the S+ tier, and we're gonna put all of these lovely units in. There we go, and bang. So these are the S tier units. These are the best in the game. All right, obviously you want the shiny secrets. They're so much better than the normal secrets. And Broly does not quite hit the 500 barrier, so yeah. We're gonna have to knock Broly down and Vegito down as well. So they do not quite hit the 500 barrier. They're right below, But since you can ascend them, they do get the edge over some of the other units. But I'm gonna be honest, guys, Ichigo Shiny is starting to really pop up on these secrets. I would probably get Ichigo Shiny if I were a free-to-play player over these guys, just because of how much easier it is to get some of these units. All right, so there you go. There's the final tier list. Let me know down below what you guys think. And free-to-play recommendations. Frieren is a very highly recommended unit, guys. I would say Frieren is probably the #1 free-to-play secret you can get. Also, the summer secret, Yoichi, is very easy to get as a free-to-play player. So those are kind of what I would shoot to go for if I were you as a free-to-play player. Frieren is easiest. Honestly, Boros is second easiest, and then Yoichi. And then after that, I would go for Aizen just because of how good he is. So catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what other videos you want on Anime Warriors 3. Deuces.